Good morning, Dino. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hey, Nana, thanks so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, so today I am interviewing my son, Dino Gomez, who has quite an exhilarating life of his own, and he's built a very interesting career and interesting business. And so, Dino, I would just love for you to share with you how you got your start and what you're up to today.
Woo, yeah, how I got my start. It's fun to go back in time. But yeah, my start really came, I went to college, figured out because I had your mentorship in college, what I wanted to do, by the time I graduated and recognized I wanted to go the entrepreneurial route from, while I was a sophomore in college and started kind of planning and strategizing for what that would look like. But yeah, what I did out of college was wanted to gain some experience in the real world. So landed a job out of college working as the marketing director for an advertising firm. And so I did that out of college for 6 months. I was at that advertising firm for 6 months before I realized I was ready to leave and be on my own. So I took off and started a digital marketing agency at the age of 23. And ever since I've been online over a decade now, which is crazy to think about. But for over a decade now, I've been making and earning a living with digital marketing and online business consulting.
So, how did you figure out that you have a love for digital marketing?
Yeah, so I mean, it's funny. I worked backwards from it. So it was really that first I fell in love with what a digital marketing career would provide in terms of freedom and an opportunity in the sense that freedom digital marketing, you can do it remotely, work from anywhere. And I've always wanted to make my own schedule, not have an alarm clock, be able to travel the world and still run my business. And so I love the freedom that digital marketing would provide, as well as I kind of saw where everything was headed industry wise on into the online space. And so I was like, oh, there's also amazing opportunity there to do well in terms of earnings as well. So I looked at those two things, and then just from there, in the online space, there's a million different subcategories of what you can do online. And so from there, I started dabbling to figure out what was going to be my online niche, so to speak. And so I tried all these kind of different things, and then started to really figure out what I got the most enjoyment from online, and took my career that direction.
Fantastic. So you're one of the lucky ones because you had a feel in college where you sort of wanted to go. But there's some people out there that really don't know what they want to do while they're in college. Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah. While you're in college and you're not sure what you want to do yet, is the perfect time to start testing and playing around with a lot of different things. I would also ask yourself really difficult questions, such as, you know, am I, if I find a career and a job that I really love, am I comfortable commuting to and from in traffic to and from that job? It's really interesting, but I love studying what makes people happy, and psychology and things of that nature. And the number one cause of unhappiness is actually in people's day-to-day lives is actually their commute to and from work, which is funny, Nana, when you think about that. It's not work itself, it's the commute to and from work. Some people have very long commutes, but even if it's a short commute, it's that time and the anxiety spent in the car and in traffic having to get to and from the place you're going to. So just ask yourself, difficult questions. Am I willing to work in an office? Do I want, am I going to be comfortable with that? What type of business or organization would that look like? What's the company culture going to be? Is a huge one. There's so many different types of company cultures. We see Google now, their headquarters, right? They have, all these cool stuff. It's casual attire, and they really, are recommending creativity, and they have cafeteria, and Google even had to make a company-wide rule that is you cannot sleep in the office because they made it so comfortable to hang out there for their employees that people started spending the night. So there's all these different company cultures. It doesn't have to be Google and so forth, but what does that company culture look like? What does the employees and stuff that you do? And then how is that job fulfilling you in terms of, is it fulfilling in the sense of you see how it is helping others? I know that's another a big reason why people are happy with their profession, is they see how it directly um, is making the world a better place, so to speak. So look at those different things, I would say. And then, from there, also ask yourself, okay, what do I love to do? What's my passion? And is this something, the big question, right? Is this something I would do if I wasn't paid to do it? And if it's something you would do, even if you weren't paid to do it, then, you kind of found a good route to go. But if you're in college, start asking those questions, and then start playing around with different things as quickly as possible. Definitely take internships, so that you can get a quick idea of what the real world looks like, and then ask yourself, can I do this for 40 or 50 years?
Right. And I think today people are changing jobs more readily than they maybe used to. So I guess one job could be a stepping stone onto the next one, right? And they would take their experience with them. So can we talk a little bit about some of the businesses that you've created, because you are kind of a serial entrepreneur?
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, just like you said there, I've had my journey in the online space as well. So I started with a digital marketing agency, and did that for 6 years, and was, was successful with that and really enjoyed that. And then right at 6 years in or so is when I saw more and more people, friends, acquaintances, and so forth online asking me questions. Um, Dino, how did you start your online career? It looks like a lot of fun, and I can tell you love what you do. How did you get started? And there's not a ton of formal training for how to launch a digital marketing company. And so I started mentoring others on how to get started with digital marketing. And then all of a sudden from there, I realized, wow, I love mentoring others more than I actually do just running my digital agency. And so that, I soon my career, changed from me being running a digital agency to actually being an online coach or mentor to others who wanted to launch their online business. And so that's what I've been up to the last, I guess, 3.5, 4 years now.
So you have two programs, if I'm not mistaken. You've got Coaching Launch, which I think helps coaches launch their coaching businesses. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I mean, we have multiple coaching programs, and so I mean, what we do is we help either aspiring online coaches launch their coaching business, or we help those established coaches. And so this could be like relationship coaches, life coaches. You might be a personal trainer, do something in the fitness and health and wellness space. You might be a business coach of some way, shape, or form. There's quite a lot of them. And you can be or a relationship coach. We see spirituality coaches. We have clients that are in all different types of niches. We have a photography coach on board. We have another individual. He is a mentor to veterans that have served our country. So we have all these different coaches that come to us, and we are their mentor in terms of helping them strategically attract more clients, deliver their services to their clients, and grow their business. And so, yeah, we have several different programs based on what is the right fit for our clients.
So do you think somebody out of college could become a coach, or do you think they need a little bit of real world experience before they jump into the coaching space?
That's a great, great, great question. Technically, I'm a firm believer that everybody has some type of life experience that they can use and teach to others. And so the example, this is one of the things I hear quite a lot. People go, I'm not qualified to be a coach. They think they need some type of online certification to be a coach. They think they can't be an online coach until somebody comes knocking on their door and says, you're qualified to be an online coach. But what's interesting is there's no qualifications. All right, so you don't need to go to, you don't need to go through some program and get certified. You don't need any of that. It's the question is, do I have a result that other people would like as well? And so that can really come at any age. I see 22-year-olds online right now making millions as a business coach but they have the result. They made millions first. And so now they're teaching other people how they made their millions. So I wouldn't say there's an age around it. It's really, do you have a specific result that other people want? So another quick example I'll give you is, I can imagine if you were in college and you were really good with getting a lot of dates, both as a female or a male, or you're just good in the dating scene and things like that, you could become a dating coach, I imagine, and do very well helping others land dates. And so there's not an age to it. It's just, do you have a skill set or a result that other people would want and pay you for to learn that? And if so, you definitely have a business opportunity there.
So do you feel that the person should definitely have the result before they go out there to be a coach? Is that a fair statement?
Yes, I do believe you should have the results, and because for several reasons. And it's not a must, but it's a recommendation of mine. And the reason is because one of the largest hangups I see in the online coaching space, regardless of niche, you can be a relationship coach, a personal trainer who helps people virtually lose weight, a business coach, spirituality coach. I mean, again, there's thousands of online coaching niches, but the reason I recommend you have that result, and it's not a requirement, but the reason I recommend you have it is it will help a ton with your mindset, because one of the number one things that stops people from achieving their goals and what they're after as an online coach is their mindset. And it's in particular around the subject of what is called imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is where you feel like an imposter because you're teaching somebody to do something, or you're telling people to do something you haven't done yourself. And so it's very difficult to tell somebody, to teach somebody, and to tell somebody, if you're let's just say you're a coach who helps others become very good at public speaking, and you're telling them, hey, there's no reason to have nerves before you get on stage in front of thousands of people. If you're telling somebody that, but you yourself don't speak on stage, it's very difficult for you to feel like you're acting ethically because you're not doing that yourself. So you really don't know how terrifying it is to speak on stage, and yet you're telling your clients, don't be afraid, just do it. So I've seen coaches be successful without having the result themselves, and telling others how to do it, but it's gonna be a mindset trip. So I would recommend, you have the result yourself first, and help others. But what I will add to that, Donna, is doesn't need to be a big result. You can be a business coach, right, without being a millionaire. And this is another one, is I see a lot of people are like, oh, I would love to be a business coach, but they always look at the person that's way out in front of them, and they compare themselves, and they say, nope, I'm not as good as that person, and therefore I'm not qualified. And that's such a huge mistake, because to be honest, if you ask yourself, and I'll just ask those tuning in right now, right? If you are a stay-at-home mom, right, would you rather learn how to make a side income of $3,000 a month from some guru who has 60 hours a week, no children at home, and has been a business coach for 30 years and wants to charge you 20 grand to teach you how to make $3,000 a month on the side? Would you rather have that as a coach, or would you rather see have another mom who's busy with handling 3 children under the age of 6, and she's making $4,000 a month while juggling 3 children at home? Wouldn't you, as a mom yourself, want to know, how does she do it? Like, she's a mom as well. How does she manage all of her kids, manage her time, and run her business and make an additional $4,000 with all the things going on? I would, in that situation, if I was a mom myself, I'd rather learn from the other mom. So that other mom isn't world-class business coach or anything like that, or world-class entrepreneur, but she is very similar to me, and she's gonna know how to coach me better because she's also a mom with young children. So that is the biggest thing you need to understand, is how you can relate to people. People are not looking for the world's best. They're looking for somebody who can understand them, has the result that they wanted, is very similar to them, and lifestyle otherwise.
You brought up mindset, and I'm a big proponent of mindset. Can you tell me how mindset in your career has affected you?
Yeah. mindset is huge. Let's see. I mean, I could talk on mindset forever, but I guess I would look for more of a specific question. But the biggest thing is like, again, I think online comparison is a big one. Oftentimes because social media is so prevalent now, and people spend so many hours per day on social media, we're constantly comparing ourselves to others, especially as you in the category, so to speak, quote unquote, success. So that one can really throw you for a loop emotionally if you really get caught up in comparing yourself to others. And that's a mindset type of thing. And so you really have to you really have to adopt an abundant mindset in which you are rooting for those who are successful, and aiming to surround yourself with those who have something that you want so that you can learn from them. And so I would say there's so many different ways to look at mindset, but there's that example. I think is a huge one today in society on so many different levels. And then also, right, if you are starting, launching, or even switching careers, it may not happen overnight. It certainly can happen very quickly if you have mentorship. But you have to understand and keep your eyes on the end goal and be very clear what you're working for and why you're working for it. And so that requires a powerful mindset as well, because at this point you're going against the grain. If you decide to start your own business, you're kind of going the untraditional route. And so a lot of people may tell you it's a bad idea. And so it's really important that you understand the decision you're making and want to live by it, and understand there's going to be resistance against you as well.
So most people would say you've arrived. You're extremely successful financially. But does somebody like yourself, do you still use coaches at all or mentors?
Great question. Yes, I will always have coaches and mentors. And so I have several myself, and I normally will have several at a time, not just one. And so, yeah, so I waited too long to hire my first business coach or mentor. I waited till I was about 3 years into my entrepreneurial career to do so, because I was young and cocky and want to do it myself, and I can figure it out and I don't need somebody else's help type of mentality at age 23. But then once I finally did hire a coach, I was 25 or 26, my business just exponentially started growing. And from that point on, I realized, wow, if I learn I should leverage my money and pay to hire somebody, because the return on it is great, and everything, it speeds up the path that I'm going down. So yep, I have all different types of mentors, and you were right. I would say my very first mentor, of course, that's my mom, but also in the business sense, in terms of, you helped me figure out, and really helped me start thinking outside the box when I was in college, right, about what type of career do I want? What does that lifestyle look like? And you're the one who really taught me to start thinking differently, and start planning for the career that I want. And so that's, I think, a perfect example, and then you actually even it helped me figure out how to put together, and position myself online to quickly land a job out of college. So I think after I graduated college, in a bad economy at the time as well, it only took me about 6 weeks to land my first corporate job. And there was a lot of people applying for that position, but it was because you helped me position myself strategically to land that actual job. And so, yeah, huge fan of mentors, and I think I will always have them. So, yeah.
So everybody wants to know, how much does a mentor cost? If I can ask, can you throw out some numbers in terms of yourself, what your experience has been with various coaching programs and what they've cost?
Yeah. So there's a couple different things that will happen, is that, and sometimes if you're newer, you won't understand the difference. So I'll explain these. There's an online course, which is kind of at do it yourself, go at your own pace. I think when people hear coaching, they oftentimes, the first thing they think of is that online course, where you pay money, normally anywhere from $500 to $1,000, and you log in and you have a video training series you watch. So there's an online course, but then there's also in that same arena, there's online coaching where you are going to have time with an individual, with your coach, kind of speaking like we are here, where it's almost face to face, where you can ask questions and get direct feedback, and they can give you a custom strategy based on, what it is you're looking to accomplish. So with that, online coaching packages range dramatically, right? They can start at anywhere at $1,000, and I've seen them run up to $500,000. So it just depends on a lot of factors. It depends on the result that you're promising your audience, and obviously your resume and your track record, and the problem that you solve, and for whom you're solving that problem is a big one as well. So again, a relationship coach that works with CEOs is probably going to charge a lot more than a relationship coach that works with the average family. A CEO is going to be willing to pay a lot more on average than your average family. So there's just different like variables to it, but there's a massive spectrum there.
Interesting. So let's see, we've sort of gotten some advice from you. Are there any mistakes that you feel like you've made in your career?
Biggest mistake, I say this time and time again, was waiting. It was either 2 or 3 years to hire my first business coach. Because again, I had that, I can do it myself mentality, and I don't want to spend my money to grow, which is backwards. You should always have your money working for you, which is, why people invest in the stock market and in real estate. So that was my biggest mistake, was waiting too long to hire my first mentor or coach. And it's just so apparent. That was basically 2 or 3 years wasted and lost because all the mistakes I made over the course of a 2 or 3 year period, I could have known the exact thing to do, if I just would have coughed up the investment to have somebody tell me how to do it right from the get-go.
Okay, well, that's cool. So in terms of advice let's just talk about people that are currently in a job they don't like, or even college students who are, out there thinking about their future. Do you have any pearls of wisdom?
Yeah. So I would always say, I like rooting people on and saying, go for it. The one question I would have you ask yourself, right, especially if you're considering a career change, or you're thinking about even entering into entrepreneurship, or maybe you have a job and you're not happy at that current job, and you're like, I see this other job over here, I would really like to actually go for it. I think the biggest question to ask yourself is, what happens if I go for it and fail? And so play worst case scenario. And that's something I did. And the reason that's so powerful is oftentimes we build up in our head that it's going to be disastrous if things don't work out. When really, if you try something new and it doesn't work out, most of the time you just hop back right on the horse, quote unquote. So example, if you're currently, you currently have a job, you're in a 9-to-5 corporate career job, and you're not happy, and you see another job over here that you would really like, you're afraid of risking, right, your salary and income that you need for your family over here. But this is what would really make you happy on this side. Ask yourself, okay, if I go for it, if I make the leap for what I really want, and I don't get this dream job over here, what's the worst case scenario? Right, worst case scenario, okay, all of a sudden you're unemployed with no income for, okay, well, how long is it going to take you to get a new job if you're unemployed with no income? Might take you 3 months. Okay, worst case scenario, we don't have any income coming in for 3 months. We'll survive, and I'll end up with another job that's decent or that pays the bills. So worst case scenarios, the world does not end. You just have, maybe you have 3 months of savings, and you use that savings to get by while you find another opportunity. Another example too is if you're in college and you're like, I really want to start my entrepreneurial career. Oh my gosh, what happens if I fail? Just ask yourself, okay, what happens? Well, if I fail, I probably then, just wrap it up and say, okay, it didn't work. Time for me to go get an actual safe job working for somebody else, right? And then you go do that and you get that job. So I like playing worst case scenario, because normally when you play that out in your head, you realize you don't have a lot to lose, but you have a ton to potentially gain. and therefore it's normally actually worth the actual risk.
So maybe one of my final questions is, what inspires you every day to do what you do?
So many different things. Great question, Nana. I mean, I love the online space. I find it fascinating. It's dynamic. It changes consistently, which I think is a ton of fun. So and every day is different, which is very exciting to me. And that can also make it a little bit more challenging because it's not like you have it figured out. It changes rapidly. But I think that's exciting, and I love working with clients, seeing their transformations and how things that our team mentors them with, including myself, like how that dramatically changes their lives. We have some of the coolest stories in the world, hearing, how people's lives have completely, flipped around, and done a 180 from in terms of where they were to where they are now in terms of happiness and other things. So yeah, love working with clients, seeing their transformation and their results, just the online space in general, trying out new things, and that. And also what really inspires me is, again, the freedom aspect of the internet, being able to work remotely from coffee shops or other countries, even if we're traveling, is also very cool.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add that I perhaps didn't ask you?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, the biggest one is definitely look at, if you're unhappy. I mean, I would add this, right? Work we spend most of our hours of our life working or sleeping. And so I think it's really such a big thing that you love what you do. So if you don't love what you do, like, definitely spend some time trying to figure out what it is that you would love, what it is that would make you happy, because you're going to spend most of your waking hours at work. So
Absolutely.
I think it's totally worth your time figuring out what job opportunities exist, or what career entrepreneurial opportunities exist, that would make you happy. And then yeah, I hire a mentor, someone like yourself, Nana, that's going to help get you to that position, because you, most likely, those tuning in right now, you have at least another 10 years, otherwise another 40 or 50 years of doing this one thing. So it really is a big decision. Have somebody help you, help position you to get the job or have the career that you're gonna love for the rest of your life, because it is basically the rest of your life.
Absolutely. I mean, life's lessons happen usually when you're at work. I mean, some of the greatest things I've learned was because I had a certain job. So I absolutely agree with you. And I find that people that are inspired in their jobs are the happiest people to be around, period.
Yep. Yeah, I've noticed, you noticed that as well, even outside of the workplace, the people that are walking around and are very just happy and enjoying things, they normally love what they do for work, and it carries over. So yeah, I completely agree.
Cool. All right. Well, we will let you get on with your day. And I just want to thank you very much, Dino, for sharing your time with me and hopefully inspiring other people to do things that they absolutely love. So I will turn off this video now and talk to you another time.
Thanks for hosting me, Nana.
You're welcome.